The message arrived while I was crouched behind a crumbling wall, dust coating my throat, the echo of gunfire still ringing in my ears. 3 seconds of calm in 18 hours of chaos, just enough time to check my satellite phone. Consider this your freedom, soldier. I've upgraded. Below it, a photo that made my blood freeze. My bedroom. Our bedroom. My wife sprawled across our marriage bed, another man's arm draped across her shoulder. My military medals were visible on the nightstand, deliberately placed in the frame like a cruel joke. I didn't have time to process it. Incoming fire erupted, and instinct took over. Later, they said I saved 4 men that day. I don't remember. I only remember that photo, seared into my brain like a brand. What my wife didn't know was that I'd been preparing for war my entire life. And war had just come home. Quick, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and whether you've ever been betrayed while you were away serving others. Now, if you've ever trusted someone completely only to have them destroy that trust, smash that subscribe button because this story is about calculated justice served with military precision. Hit that like button if you think people who betray our service members deserve everything they get. Let's dive into this methodical takedown. My name is Jake Harrison, and I'm a 32-year-old Army Ranger who spent the last 15 years believing that loyalty meant something. That honor wasn't just a word we threw around in training. That when someone promises to wait for you while you're defending your country, they actually mean it. I was wrong about all of that. But I was right about one thing: I'm very good at planning operations. And what happened to my wife Rachel became the most successful mission I ever executed. I met Rachel during my second deployment recovery. I was 26, already a staff sergeant with the Rangers, home recuperating from a shoulder injury sustained during a mission in Afghanistan. She worked at the Veterans Affairs Hospital where I did physical therapy, a civilian counselor with bright eyes and a smile that made me forget the pain shooting through my arm. She'd watched me struggle through an exercise, her expression amused. You military guys, always so serious about everything. I focused on the painful movements she was guiding me through. Ma'am, when you've seen what I've seen, serious becomes your default setting. She'd leaned closer, her voice dropping to almost a whisper. Then maybe you need someone to help you find a new setting. 6 months later, we were married. Small ceremony, just family and close friends. My battle buddies stood beside me in their dress uniforms, and Rachel glowed in a simple white dress that I thought was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. During our vows, she'd whispered with tears in her eyes, "I'll always be your safe harbor. No matter where the army sends you, your home will always be with me." I believed her with every fiber of my being. God help me, I believed every single word. For 9 years, we built what I thought was an unbreakable life together. I rose through the ranks, deployed and returned, each homecoming sweeter than the last. We bought a house in Colorado Springs, 4 bedrooms, anticipating the children we talked about having someday. Rachel said she wasn't ready for kids yet, wanted to focus on her career first. I respected her choice, never pushed. When I was selected for a special operations unit and the deployments became longer and more classified, Rachel said she understood. She'd kiss me goodbye at the airport with conviction. "I'm proud of you. I'll be right here waiting when you come home." Before my last deployment, 12 months of deep cover operations, I couldn't discuss with anyone. I made sure everything was in order. Updated our wills, secured our finances, and signed trust documents. My sister Catherine, a corporate attorney back in Texas, helped with the paperwork. Catherine raised an eyebrow as I signed documents transferring our major assets into a blind trust under her management. "Are you sure about all this, Jake? This seems pretty extreme." "It's just precautionary," I'd told her. "If something happens to me over there, Rachel will be taken care of, but protected from making emotional financial decisions while she's grieving." Catherine's eyes had narrowed with the lawyer instincts I'd learned to trust. "And if something happens here while you're gone?" I'd dismissed her concern. "Rachel's my wife, my partner, my home. She'd never." Catherine had sighed but finalized the documents anyway. "I hope you're right, little brother." 3 days later, I deployed, still believing completely in the sanctity of those vows we'd exchanged under summer skies. 3 weeks after that, Rachel began the process of systematically erasing me from her life. Looking back, I should have seen the signs during our video calls. The increasingly brief conversations, the vague answers about her day, and the new clothes visible in the background of our chats. The gym membership she'd mentioned casually, with emphasis on her amazing personal trainer who was helping her get in the best shape of her life. But I was 12,000 miles away, focused on keeping myself and my men alive in terrain where a moment's distraction meant death. I trusted Rachel completely, never imagining she was using my absence to audition my replacement. A month into my deployment, my battle buddy Martinez forwarded me a message from his wife back home. "You might want to see this, brother." It was a video from a mutual friend's birthday party. Rachel was in the background, hanging on a young man I didn't recognize. His hand resting too familiarly on her waist, her laughter too intimate for casual friendship. I told myself it was nothing. An awkward moment caught on camera. Rachel was social and friendly with everyone. I was reading too much into it. 2 months in, the bank sent me a notification, $15,000 withdrawn from our joint savings account. When I managed to get Rachel on a video call, her explanation seemed reasonable enough. She spoke without quite meeting the camera. "The roof needed emergency repairs, babe. Water damage from that storm last month. I didn't want to worry you with it." I believed her. Even when her eyes seemed to focus everywhere except on me, even when she quickly changed the subject to her new fitness routine and how much her trainer, Tyler, was helping her. 3 months in, Catherine called me during one of my rare communication windows. Her voice carried concern I'd learned to recognize. "Jake, Rachel contacted me yesterday. She was asking about the house deed, wanted to know if she could refinance without your signature." "What did you tell her?" "Nothing yet." "But Jake, something doesn't feel right about this. Why would she need to refinance? Your mortgage payments are automatic." I dismissed it, still clinging to trust that was already crumbling. She's probably just looking at options. Maybe planning a surprise renovation for when I get back. For months in, I couldn't ignore the evidence anymore. The Instagram posts she thought I couldn't see from overseas. The credit card statements showed dinners for 2 at restaurants we'd saved for special occasions. Hotel charges in cities where she claimed to be visiting friends. I reached out to Marcus Reed, an old army buddy who'd become a private investigator after leaving the service. Asked him to keep an eye on things, just to ease my mind. His first report arrived with photos that felt like physical blows. Rachel and Tyler are entering our home together. Rachel was wearing the diamond necklace I'd given her for our anniversary. Tyler was driving my truck, the one I'd restored by hand during my previous leave. Marcus had asked during our encrypted call, "Want me to dig deeper?" "Everything," I'd replied, my voice steady despite the rage building in my chest. "Document everything." By month 5, I had a secured cloud folder filled with evidence that painted a picture I could no longer deny. Photos, videos, financial records, social media posts. Rachel and Tyler are emptying our joint accounts. Rachel showing off expensive gifts on social media, presents from someone who actually appreciates me, one caption read. Rachel gave Tyler keys to my workshop, my garage, spaces that had been mine alone. She'd even posted a video of them throwing away my military gear, calling it clearing out the old to make room for the new. And then came the anniversary message. The final confirmation that the woman I'd loved, the woman I'd built my life around, had never truly existed at all. The realization didn't come as a thunderclap. No dramatic moment of sudden understanding. Instead, it settled over me gradually, like the desert dust that coated everything in my world. It happened during a rare moment of quiet. Our unit had set up a temporary base, waiting for extraction after a grueling week-long mission. I sat alone, watching stars emerge in an alien sky, scrolling through Marcus's latest update. Photos of Rachel and Tyler in our backyard, hosting a party. My friends, people I'd known for years, laughing, drinking my beer, using my grill. In one image, Rachel wore my old army jacket, the one I'd been awarded after a particularly dangerous mission. She'd turned it into a costume, posing with a toy gun while Tyler took photos. Something fundamental broke inside me in that moment. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just a quiet, final severing of whatever emotional ties had kept me tethered to the idea that there might be something worth salvaging. Martinez found me there, still staring at my phone. He sat beside me with understanding in his eyes. "You look like a man who's made a decision." I nodded slowly. "I've been fighting the wrong war." "Meaning?" "I've been trying to understand why she would do this, what I did wrong, how I could fix it." I put the phone away, feeling a strange calm descend. But that's not the right question. What is? How do I end this on my terms? How do I make sure justice is served? Martinez nodded, understanding flooding his expression. He'd gone through something similar during his second marriage. The best revenge isn't revenge. It's justice, I finished. Cold, calculated, and complete. That night, I wrote 3 emails. One to Catherine, outlining exactly what I needed her to do. One to Marcus, expanding the scope of his investigation. And one to my commanding officer, requesting a specific return date that would coincide with the timeline I was constructing. For the first time since receiving that crushing photo, I slept without nightmares. Over the next 7 months, I built my case with the same precision I'd used to plan military operations. This wasn't about emotion anymore. This was about strategy, about ensuring that when the hammer fell, it would be devastating and final. Catherine became my primary asset, managing the legal architecture of Rachel's downfall. The trust we'd established before my deployment had been designed as a safeguard against my death. Now it became the foundation of Rachel's destruction. Catherine confirmed during one of our encrypted calls, she has no idea. She thinks she's living off your military pay and the joint accounts. She doesn't realize the house, the cars, everything of real value, it's all in the trust now, and she has no legal claim to it. Marcus continued his surveillance, building a comprehensive record of Rachel's betrayal. Financial misconduct, property damage, destruction of personal belongings, defamation of character, each offense meticulously documented and timestamped. He reported in month 9 with evident concern, she's planning something big. Talking about a destination wedding. Looking at venues in Hawaii and Mexico. She's meeting with travel agents, pricing honeymoon packages. Let her plan, I replied. Let her dream. The bigger the dreams, the harder the fall. Meanwhile, I cultivated relationships with key people back home. Anonymous tips to local media outlets about a developing story, a scandal brewing involving a military family. Building interest without revealing my hand. In month 10, Rachel made her move. Catherine reported with lawyer-like precision, she's trying to refinance the house. Wants to pull $200,000 in equity. Told the bank it's for home improvements, but I've seen the travel bookings she's making. Let her get to the final paperwork, I instructed. Let her think it's a done deal. The timing had to be perfect. I arranged my return stateside to coincide with the closing date she'd set for the refinance. No welcome home celebration, no advance notice, just the cold precision of justice served at the moment of her greatest confidence. 2 days before my scheduled return, I had Marcus contact the local news station. An anonymous tip about a developing human interest story, a decorated soldier returning home to shocking betrayal. Marcus confirmed, the producer was immediately interested. We'll have a crew on standby. Just give the word. The final piece fell into place when Tyler's background surfaced in Marcus's investigation. A history of targeting military wives during deployments. 2 previous relationships that had followed the exact same pattern: seduce the wife, drain the accounts, disappear when the husband returned. Marcus explained with professional detachment, he's a professional. Finds vulnerable women, isolates them from their support systems, then bleeds them dry. Does Rachel know about his history? Not yet, I said. But she will. At exactly the right moment. Everything was in place. The legal documents, the media coverage, the incontrovertible evidence, all waiting for the moment I stepped back onto American soil. On the flight home, I felt nothing but calm certainty. This wasn't about hatred anymore. It wasn't even about hurt. It was about justice, about consequences meeting actions with mathematical precision. I landed at Peterson Air Force Base at 6 o'clock hours. By 7:30, I was in Catherine's office, reviewing the final details of our operation. Catherine looked at me with concern evident in her voice. Are you absolutely sure about this? Once we start, there's no going back. I looked at my sister, the one person who had never betrayed my trust, and nodded. Rachel made her choice when she sent me that photo. Now it's time for her to face the consequences. At 9 o'clock, Catherine made the call that would start the cascade. The refinance closing was scheduled for 10 o'clock at Colorado Springs Mortgage and Loan. Rachel had arrived early, dressed in a new outfit that, according to Marcus's records, had cost more than my monthly combat pay. Tyler waited in the parking lot in my truck, scrolling through his phone while she secured the money for their lavish wedding. I watched from Marcus's surveillance vehicle across the street, not out of emotion but to ensure the operation proceeded as planned. At precisely 9:55 the sheriff's department arrived, 2 cruisers' lights flashing. A news van pulled up 30 seconds later, right on schedule. Through Marcus's directional microphone, I could hear the confusion in the loan officer's voice. The loan officer's tone was professional but puzzled. "Mrs. Harrison, there seems to be some confusion. According to our records, you don't own this property." Rachel's laugh was dismissive. "That's ridiculous. I'm Rachel Harrison. The house is in the Harrison name." "Yes, ma'am. But according to county records, the property is owned by the Harrison Family Trust, administered by Catherine Harrison. You are not an authorized agent of the trust." The first crack in her confidence was visible even from across the street. Rachel's voice rose with indignation. "That's impossible. My husband is deployed. I handle all our financial matters." "Ma'am, we've received notice from the trust administrator. You are not authorized to refinance this property. Furthermore, the sheriff's department is here with an eviction notice." The color drained from Rachel's face as the sheriff entered, documents in hand. The sheriff spoke with official authority. "Rachel Harrison, I'm serving you with notice of immediate eviction from 1547 Pine Ridge Drive, as ordered by Judge Harrison of the County Circuit Court." The cameras captured every moment. Her shock, her confusion, the slow dawning of realization as her carefully constructed world began to collapse. She stumbled outside, looking for Tyler. But he was already pulling away in my truck, the trust's truck, having seen the sheriff and news crew arrive. The reporter approached, microphone extended. "Mrs. Harrison, is it true that you attempted to refinance your deployed husband's home to fund a wedding with another man?" Rachel's face, once so composed and confident, crumbled in real time for all of Colorado Springs to see. She stammered in confusion, "This is a mistake. My husband Jason wouldn't, he's deployed, he can't." The reporter announced with practiced authority, "Staff Sergeant Harrison returned from deployment this morning. He personally signed all necessary documents yesterday evening." The second phase began at 11 o'clock hours. As Rachel stood shell-shocked on the sidewalk, Catherine arrived with additional documentation. Catherine spoke with professional detachment. "Rachel, as administrator of the Harrison Family Trust, I'm required to inform you that all joint credit accounts have been frozen pending investigation of unauthorized expenditures. Additionally, the vehicles registered to the trust have been reported stolen and are being recovered by law enforcement." As if on cue, a police cruiser pulled alongside my truck, which Tyler had abandoned at a gas station 2 miles away. Rachel whispered in disbelief, "This can't be happening. Jake is deployed. He can't do this." Catherine stated loud enough for the cameras to catch, "Staff Sergeant Harrison returned from deployment this morning. He has signed all necessary documents in person." By noon, the local news was running the story every hour. By evening, it had been picked up by national outlets. The narrative wrote itself, "Decorated soldier betrayed while defending his country, wife and lover attempt to steal his home, justice served upon his return." Rachel's social media accounts, once filled with her celebrations of her new life, exploded with condemnation. The very photos and videos she'd posted mocking me were shared thousands of times, now with a very different context. Phase 3 began the following morning. Tyler, realizing the money train had completely derailed, sent Rachel a text ending their relationship. Marcus ensured I received a copy within minutes. "This is too much drama. I'm out. Don't contact me again." By afternoon, Rachel had been reduced to calling friends for a place to stay. The same friends who had partied in my home, who had witnessed her betrayal and said nothing. One by one, they declined. One former friend texted with cold rejection, "No one wants to be associated with what you did. It's all over the news. My husband's in the National Guard. How would it look?" By evening, Rachel was checked into a budget motel, using the last of her personal credit cards. The cards linked to our joint accounts had already been deactivated. I could have avoided her entirely. Could have let the legal system and public opinion finish what I'd started. But something in me needed closure. Needed to look her in the eyes one last time and confirm that the woman I'd loved had never really existed. I chose the motel parking lot. Neutral territory. Marcus had confirmed she was inside, had been there for 3 days, leaving only for her shift at a local diner, the only place that would hire her after the news stories broke. I parked my rental car and waited. At 16:45 hours, she emerged, dressed in the black pants and polo shirt of her new employer. The contrast to the designer clothes she'd flaunted just days earlier couldn't have been more stark. She saw me immediately, froze in place, key card half raised toward her room door. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Jake." I stepped out of the car, not in uniform, just jeans and a t-shirt. Nothing ceremonial about this moment. "Rachel." She took a step toward me, then stopped, uncertainty in every line of her body. "You're back. You're really back." "I am." Her voice shook as she asked, "Did you? Was this all you? The house, the accounts, the news crews?" I met her gaze steadily. Actions have consequences. Her eyes filled with tears, whether genuine or another performance, I couldn't tell and didn't care to analyze. She pleaded desperately, "Jake, please. I made a mistake. A terrible mistake. But we can fix this. We can work through this. There is no we, Rachel. Not anymore." She took another step forward, reaching out. "I still love you. What happened with Tyler, it didn't mean anything." I didn't back away, didn't flinch. Just looked at her with the same detachment I'd feel observing a stranger. "It meant something to me," I said quietly. "It meant the end." She whispered with growing desperation, "Please. I have nothing. Nowhere to go. That was your choice." She tried to touch my arm. I stepped back, maintaining the distance. "The divorce hearing is Monday at 9 o'clock. My lawyer will present a settlement offer that allows you to keep your personal possessions and provides a one-time payment of $5,000 to secure new housing." Her voice rose, indignation momentarily overcoming her calculated contrition. $5,000? After 10 years? After everything we built together? After what you destroyed while I was deployed, yes. Her tears came faster now, voice breaking. "What am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to go?" I looked at her, really looked at her, and felt nothing but distant pity. "That's not my concern anymore." I turned to leave, and felt her hand grasp my arm. She spoke with desperate intensity, "Wait. Just, at least tell me why. Why did you do all this? Why didn't you just divorce me like a normal person?" I carefully removed her hand. "Because you didn't just betray me, Rachel. You mocked me. You degraded my service. You threw away medals I bled for. You invited others to laugh at my absence while I was fighting for my country." I took a step back. "So yes, I could have just divorced you quietly. But you chose to make your betrayal public, to humiliate me for your entertainment." I simply returned the favor. She stared at me, mascara streaking down her face. "I never thought you could be so cold. I never thought you could be so cruel," I replied. "I guess we were both wrong about who we married." 3 years later, I sit on the deck of my new home in North Carolina, watching the sunset with a quiet contentment I hadn't felt in years. Marcus's final report arrived this morning, something I'd requested one last time, just to close the book completely. Rachel Miller, she'd taken back her maiden name, was working as a waitress in a highway diner outside Denver, living in a shared apartment with 2 other women, drowning in debt from the lawyer she'd hired to try to contest the divorce. Her social media presence had dwindled to almost nothing. The few recent photos showed a woman aged beyond her years, the sparkle gone from her eyes, replaced by a weariness that comes from hard lessons learned too late. Tyler had moved on to another target, a divorced teacher with a healthy pension. But his methods had been exposed during Rachel's public downfall. His new relationship ended quickly when the woman's brother recognized him from the news stories. As for me, I'd found my peace. Not in the destruction I'd engineered, but in the justice of it. In the knowledge that betrayal had met its consequence, that honor had ultimately prevailed. I closed the report and deleted Marcus's email, the last thread connecting me to that chapter of my life severed with a single keystroke. Inside, dinner waited. A quiet evening ahead with a book I'd been meaning to finish. Tomorrow I will return to base, continue training the next generation of soldiers, men and women who understand concepts like loyalty, honor, and commitment. The concepts that had saved me in the end. Not from Rachel's betrayal, but from allowing that betrayal to destroy who I was. I had gone to war, but I had come home. Not to the woman who had promised to be my harbor, but to the man I had always been, the man I would continue to be. Mission complete. So we've reached the end of today's story. Was it what you expected, or did the military precision of this revenge surprise you? I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think Jake's response was justified, or did he go too far? Drop your opinions in the comments below and let's get a discussion going. If this methodical takedown kept you hooked, smash that like button. And if you're new here, hit subscribe for more stories where justice is served with calculated precision. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.